Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fine Saturday morning in all of our lives, and we give thanks to be able to be together here this morning. I'd like to ask all our guests to mute their microphones and switch off their cameras, please, for the duration of the ceremony that we're about to engage in. And it is with a greatly warm heart that I welcome you here today. It is truly wonderful to open this ceremony of recognition that we are engaging in today. And I guess the interesting question is, what is this that we are recognizing today? And to understand this, I believe we can look back on the history of humanity. It's widely accepted that humanity had its origins in Africa. And yes, as Johnny Clegg said, we are scatterlings of Africa. Some of us took a longer way home, but here we are. And we are all children of Africa. And the one thing that the whole of humanity has in common is the ability to dream and the ability to change tomorrow, given those dreams that we have. And it's that ability to change tomorrow that we're actually here to celebrate today. And we're here to recognize in each and every individual who is crossing this threshold today into a tomorrow that each person has worked towards and believed in themselves enough to be here today. And it is truly a wonderful, wonderful moment for each one of you. And I trust merely the beginning of a long journey. Now, one of the things you may notice is that I'm wearing funny clothes. And at graduations, we do wear funny clothes. And the reason we wear gowns and caps and hoods, strange, it's that what we're actually doing, believe it or not, is we're actually celebrating our ancestors. Because it's through our ancestors working on building the knowledge and the skill that we have gained and gathered as humanity. It's through that we are able to organize it and learn in a systematic way to empower ourselves with this knowledge that is handed to us. Empower ourselves to grow that knowledge. And the more we are able to grow our knowledge, the more profoundly we are able to change tomorrow. So what we are here today to do is to celebrate your ability that is now recognized formally to gain knowledge, to hold it, to master it, and to use it to create new tomorrows, not just for yourselves, not just for your families, but for the whole of humanity, because together we're striving to create a more beautiful tomorrow, a more sustainable tomorrow. Now, we can never underestimate what colonialism has done to Africa and to South Africa, and what a bitter legacy our country emerges from and how we struggle daily to create a better tomorrow. We had an election last week. What are we dreaming of? A better tomorrow. What are we looking for? Leadership that has a dream that creates a better tomorrow for all, especially the poorest, the most disadvantaged. And here we are, through what our country has created and the opportunities that our country has created, to each play our part in creating this new South Africa, this new dream that sometimes feels like it may slip away and at other times feels so strong. And today it can feel strong in your hearts because you have taken a step. And the step that you have taken can never be untaken. It is cast in history. We honor our ancestors on this day with the knowledge that we have, and we dedicate ourselves to building something more beautiful, something with greater opportunity, something better for all. And it is such a privilege to be here today, myself and my colleagues, to celebrate this moment of moving one step more into a future that we cannot know, but that we can commit to. And we can commit ourselves, each one of us, to building that better, more beautiful dream that will be tomorrow. And that is why it is fitting that we open this celebration of our human capacity to create a better tomorrow and to overcome the endless obstacles of the past and to actually do something meaningful. We open our ceremony with Nkosi Sikelele. That is our fitting tribute to today and to the dream that binds us together here. We're going to do the national anthem now.
Derek, you are on mute.
Such a rookie error. It gives me fantastic pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Indira Bagalu, our program director. One thing that you can know when you hear the words of Dr. Bagalu is that she will never leave the slightest stone unturned in ensuring that the experience that you have on the programs that she's responsible for give you the absolute best chance of changing tomorrow. Dr. Bagalu is a recent PhD graduate, really doing groundbreaking work in leadership. And it is a pleasure to welcome her, and I anticipate your words greatly, Indira. Over to you.
Dr. Shirley, thank you very much for that introduction and the warm welcome to the graduates. So, graduates 2021, congratulations to you. It's been a very difficult and uncertain journey for you, just by virtue of the uncertain times in which we're operating, and yet your resilience has paid off. So, absolutely well done. We are regretful that we could not do this in person, be by your side, sharing your energy. However, we've done as much as we actually could from an organization to make this day really special for you and very inclusive. So you all would have received your vouchers to break bread with us. And I trust that you have indulged in something for you and your family so that you can celebrate and enjoy the day around something that's meaningful to South Africa. And that's always been part of our heritage, food. We always celebrate around food. We share our stories, we share our sadness, we share our happiness around food. So we thought it was quite appropriate to provide you with an opportunity to break bread with us. So Dr. Shirley and I actually have cheese platters. We have wine, so we will celebrate after the session, Dr. Shirley, not immediately. And please indulge yourselves. Please let us also know what it is that you've prepared for you and your family through, the gift that we have actually sent you. And yeah, let's share in that. So, what I am actually going to be doing is firstly to thank our CEO, Dr. Shirley, and our co-founder, Karen Shirley, for creating this vision 21 years ago. Yesterday, Cornerstone celebrated its 21st anniversary, and it really is because of these two individuals who had vision, who had purpose, who had an intention to create something that was meaningful towards skills development in South Africa. And yet, they were two white individuals, but their heart was on the reality of the destruction of colonialism, and they wanted to play their part in the process of ensuring that South Africa is a better place. And wow, have they done this? They have created this. They have created an environment where so many individuals have been able to graduate, have been able to participate in the economy of the South Africa. We have graduated more than 20,000 students in Cornerstone over the past 21 years. So what a wonderful tribute today to Dr. Shirley and Karen Shirley for their vision, their intention, their heart, their soul, and their integrity through this entire process. And I wanted to start off the session by really acknowledging, these two individuals that have really made all of this work for us. Beyond that, we are an institution who, has grown significantly, and we just have such a formidable team behind us. So, in their inspiration to enhance skills development in South Africa, they most certainly have enhanced families and given multiple families opportunities by creating such wonderful employment. So Dr. Shirley and Karen Shirley, today we as Cornerstone, our graduates and everyone who has walked the path or touched Cornerstone in any manner, we pay tribute to you. I would like to then also welcome our esteemed guests and most importantly, our graduates. What a journey it has been for you. We've come into these unprecedented times where we had to play multiple roles. We had to play caregivers, we had to play homemakers, we had to play tutors, we had to play psychologists, we had to manage our careers, we had to study, and yet you did it. So please pat yourselves on the back for your guests and your family who are around the table, embracing and celebrating what it is that you have achieved today. Please thank them and applaud them, because without them and without their support, I don't think today would have been possible for you. So really well done. I'd also like to pause and take a special mention to our faculty members who are graduating today. So really well done to our faculty members, to our graduates and your guests. I think just having faculty graduate today just attests to their commitment towards authentic transfer of knowledge and Cornerstone's promise to our students for students' excellence, whereby all our faculty must in essence be subject matter experts of their modules, and they must be fully competent in the modules in which they facilitate or assess. So we don't leave any stone unturned, and we ensure that our proposition to our students is meaningful, it's authentic, and it is relevant. So today I thought that I'm going to talk to you about my journey in that I'm a practitioner. I always say that. I've been in corporate South Africa for more than 2 decades, and yes, I'm giving out my age. But I've just had such a wonderful, wonderful journey in corporate South Africa. And around 6.5 years ago, I joined Cornerstone, and that has just been, so fulfilling for me in terms of that process and being part of this team has really, really filled my soul cup. So I thought today to just perhaps share with you the little pointers that I've picked up over my corporate journey. And perhaps it would resonate with you. You could take some out of the conversation, you can leave some behind. But it's just my experience and it has helped me in good stead. Like most of you, I'm also a first-time graduate in my family. I have 5 siblings, and we come from an environment where, we sort of just made do with the basics. And so, education for me and experiences for me was always something that I had aspired to. And for me, it was really about, how it is that I developed myself. So, for you, especially, my note to you is that it really takes such courage and resilience to embark on any self development intervention whilst building careers, establishing families, and contributing to your communities and your extended families. Because we all know, right? We all have black tax. Whether you are a white South African, an Indian South African, a colored South African, or African black South African, we all have our own family taxes, and our extended families are meaningful. Derek spoke about ancestors and he spoke about, our heritage. That's fundamentally important, and we all have our commitments. But managing the commitment, self developing, and building a career is formidable. So please don't underestimate what it is that you actually have achieved today. I think for me, the most important takeout from the personal intervention development in my journey was that element of intentionality. And it was really about what it is that I'm going to be doing with the knowledge that I acquired. So it's quite interesting, in that I realized very quickly that it was not only based on what I was going to gain from a technical component or from books or from journals or from articles. Financial Mail at that time, when I joined the corporate world, that was the end all and be all. That was the encyclopedia of any corporate South Africa dialogue. And if you didn't read the Financial Mail, you always sort of felt that you weren't part of the journey. But it was, what do you do beyond that, and how do you steal with your eyes? And for me, it was so important that I had to steal from my eyes. I was head of private banking South Africa at one point in time, and having come from a very humble background where we didn't even really use cutlery as such, we ate with our fingers. That's the Indian, tradition. Walking and walking that path of dealing with very discerning, affluent individuals, I had to steal with my eye in terms of understanding, how do you use multiple cutlery? You go into a space with your clients or in an event and you have sort of 5 sets of cutlery. You look like, what do I do? And you steal with your eyes. That's knowledge build. You have 3 glasses on the table, which is the wine glass, which is the water glass. How do you say no when you actually don't want to have, wine in a very diplomatic manner without raising eyebrows? No book actually taught me that. It was the manner in which I had stole with my eyes. So learning is actually based on your intentionality and your personal agenda in terms of what it is that you're wanting to achieve from there. So as I am going to be addressing you, I am going to be talking about an individual as well. And when you actually get the clue of who the individual is, the first person that posts on the chat who this individual is actually going to be winning a prize, which we'll send to you. We have our registrar, Karen Versteeg. Gosh, I'm calling everyone doctors today, Karen, my apologies. Mrs. Karen Versteeg, and she would actually be the adjudicator, right? So be attentive. Right, so my journey of intentionality in essence began when I was in grade 11. my English teacher um, asked me about my university application because everyone was applying and I sort of showed, no interest. And so he said, well, madam, what about you? And I said to him, well, I'm not really applying because, obviously financially it's not going to be possible. So I'm not going to apply. And I wasn't sort of an A student in the sense of, my 98%, etc., to even think about adversity, because at that point in time, being a person of color in a pre-democratic environment, you needed like really in the upper 90s to even consider being, or rather consider applying for a bursary. So I didn't have that kind of acumen and that kind of intelligence, and there was no way that I was even going to consider bursary. But it was quite interesting, and in life I had so many turning points, and I think this is one of my turning points as well, where he said to me, because I think I was a bit, maybe I was a bit edgy in my response, or maybe I was a bit curt in my response, but he reflected and he said to me in a very gentle manner, he said, learning is not a way of reaching one's potential from an academic perspective, but rather it is a way of developing it. And he says, while he said to me, whilst a qualification would accelerate the journey, it is what you accumulate along the way and how you use it that's going to be more meaningful. So he reminded me, in a very gentle manner, that it isn't about the journey and it is about the destination. And I didn't understand at that point in time what it really meant. But through years, as you reflect, how many of us say to us, we'll never be like our parents, right? And then we actually worse than our parents when it comes to discipline, etc., with our kids. And this is the same story, same scenario. As I reflected over years, I just, his words were just so pronounced. And then, through my career, I quickly realized and learned that psychological contracts were actually so crucial in terms of the realities and the way between, how an employer and an employee engages. So my parents' version of psychological contracts really emphasized job security, loyalty, career advancements. And as I developed my career, it became so evident that less employees, especially in today's term, expect lifelong careers, in single organizations. And I learned maybe a bit later in my career, probably sort of 3 to 4 years into my career, that it was so important for me to find my voice by emphasizing mutual expectations. Um, and, through that process, it gave me the foresight to focus on competency development, continuous learning, and work-life balance that I think, allowed me to stand above the rest of my peers, because it really just gave me that holistic impact around life and not totally exhausting myself, focusing on one area and not the other. And I think it's from that I can, impart to you that employee value proposition and leadership cultures are continuously evolving to allure talented individuals who can work across the breadth of an organization. And you don't have to have the title of a leader to actually engage as a leader, to use dialogue that would embrace kindness, and that would embrace forward thinking as you engage with individuals. So it is just such a holistic way of thinking about what is it that you are going to be using with these competencies and the skills that you've actually accumulated over the past year. For me, it was always about my personal development and not another agenda. So as I progressed with my studying, and the irony of it all is that I couldn't go to university because my dad couldn't afford it financially. And the irony, and I think the gift of the universe to me, was that throughout my journey of education, I never actually paid for any of my qualifications. But the one thing I knew is that as I developed, academically, I needed to find that balance in terms of developing, personally developing, from a practitioner point of view, etc. Um, but I knew that after every qualification, there was no way that I would have expected an increase or a salary. And if that is your expectation, let me tell you this much, it ain't going to happen. Because it really, really very seldomly happens that you would be, acquire a promotion or an increase by virtue of a qualification. It is what you do with that accumulated knowledge that actually matters. So to move forward, I do believe that you must be deliberate on how you will use your newly acquired knowledge and, to take your peers, your teams, your leaders, and even your family members along with you in this journey. It is really that transition from how you do things, from your actually inner beingness, where thinking and acting will allow you to embrace your authentic self, and it will really start developing from a very early process, great self-awareness and self-efficacy as such. So your ability to think holistically and cultivate a deep belief in the power and value of diversity are so important to your overall contribution to society. And diversity by no means is confined to race, to gender. It's rather the ability to understand yourself and to accept that in order to succeed, you need to surround yourself with the right individuals. And the right individuals necessarily are not going to be like-minded people. They potentially are going to be those individuals who are likely to constantly irritate you and to challenge you so that you could actually see multiple perspectives. And if you surround yourself with those type of people, you know that you actually are doing the right thing. I also learned that it's very important to exercise humility in acknowledging that as you implement your your newly developed skills in the workplace, you need to have a very open mind to learning, to relearning, to unlearning, and share your knowledge as you go through that process in contexts that are actually meaningful. um, Remember not to promote yourself. Rather use your story to take others on your journey and show up as a diverse and an authentic individual. I always believe that you have a choice in life. You can either choose, the high road or the low road, the road of superficiality or the road of granularity. Your choice. But if you choose the road of granularity, it allows you to actually be brave, to have those courageous conversations and embrace your authenticity. Do it in the spirit of playing the ball and not the person. And remember that as you go through your process, you're going to meet multiple personalities. Always stick to the principle and never the individual or the personality, because that is the only way you are going to be fair and equitable in your process. Work as a team, you know, be directive and be committed to an end goal, because if you go into any scenario with your own personal agenda, you may succeed for a short period of time, but you're not going to have long-term success, and you won't have longevity in the process if you do not work with a team and be true to yourself in the process. So for me, coming from a very small community, I was very naive. And it really took me at least 3 to maybe 5 years, maybe I'm just a bit slow, to really settle in this new way of, of thinking and of working, etc. But I also realized that I had to be me. I had to be my authentic self. So I by no means, wanted to dress like someone else, or wanted to speak like someone else, or wanted to behave like someone else. I really believed, in my ability that I could bring something unique and impactful to the table. And I really compel you to do so and do the same and use your narratives and your stories and your experience to bring a compelling process to the table. Simplicity, is the ultimate sophistication. Winston Churchill actually once wrote that I'm writing a long letter, as I do not have time to write a short letter. So keep things simple. Share your vision and articulate the outcome so that you can determine in a very calculated manner how you want to get there. Because everyone has their own perspectives, right? Try to see the work through their lenses and, be welcoming in all perspectives and all voices that actually come to the table. And believe you me, it is never too late to learn. It is never too late to self-develop. It is never too late to think about, your intentionalities and how you're wanting to, in essence, implement them and, change your perspective if need may be. Because life happens, in your teens, and it happens in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 50s, etc. And, we know of a certain individual who actually started his career, or who actually excelled in his career more than, you know, when he was sort of in his teenagers. In fact, he was 65 years old when he started reaping the benefits of his hard work and what he learned along the journey. So we know of, an individual, I think it's well publicized, who lost his dad at 6 years old. At 16, he quit school and he falsifies his age, joined the army, and he was given an honorary discharge. I think I have a fly flying around me. Sorry about that. He became a railway laborer, and he studied law part time. And he later ruined his legal career because he got into a fight with a client. He was divorced at 25. He lost his appeal for joint custody for his daughter. And he later moved in with his mother. He sold insurance and he was fired for insubordination. So by then he obviously didn't learn a lot of his lessons that have actually that have put him onto his pathway. But at the age of 40, he then opened a restaurant that was merely a kitchen table that was placed in front of a a service station. It was only at 65, when the average person seeks to retire, that he began traveling across the country with barely much in his pocket. So he cooked along the way to determine, a franchise, or rather to establish a franchising investment for his recipe. Many of the restaurant owners he met laughed at him because obviously, his signature dress code was quite unique in that, he wore a white starched shirt, a black tie, white jacket and pants. And in all, he had 1,009 rejections through that process. So through resilience and perseverance, at 90, when he passed away, he had 6,000 franchises in 118 countries. By 2013, 18,000 franchisees were set up in 118 countries. So yes, some of you may have already guessed who this individual is. And Karen would actually tell us a bit later who had actually won our spot prize. But my conclusion really is that in reality, small cracks do not mean that you are broken. It means that you were put to the test, and that you will not fall and that you will not fall apart. And so through your journey, you are here in one piece and ready to take on the world. So congratulations and good luck for your future endeavors. All of the best and enjoy the rest of the graduation.
Beautiful, beautiful, inspiring words. Thank you, Indira. Thank you for reminding us that a qualification shows that we've reached a certain level of knowledge. And your words remind us that we should use it as a platform for further learning. And we should use it sensitively to find our voices in systems with the people that we interact with humility and restraint. And in so doing, we can keep developing ourselves and become more of who we can be, develop our potential, in the words of your teacher, and actually create a better tomorrow for all. And yes, we are here. Beautiful. And on this note, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. She's not a Cornerstone faculty member. In fact, she's actually on the Cornerstone academic board, and that is a privilege for us too. And that is Ms. Maimuna Ismail. Maimuna, if I may call her that, is the head of skills development and youth development at Standard Bank. Now, I cannot think of a single individual who has done more for more people than Maimuna. Maimuna is the kindest person you'd meet, and also one of the most determined and strongest people that you will ever meet. And what she has managed to achieve in her time at Standard Bank by doing the kinds of things that Indira has been emphasizing has made an incredible difference. And when you add up all these individual contributions, you can see how the new South Africa can become a reality. So, with no further ado, I'm going to hand over to May, but unfortunately not to May in person. May is in India um, on a very necessary trip that cropped up after our dates that wasn't negotiable. But May has kindly sent us a recording of the things that she would like to share. And the important thing to remember is that as Indira's words come from personal experience that resulted in tremendous corporate success and put her in a position to be able to give back in the way that she does at the moment through programs that she directs. May's words are hard won also from coming from a disadvantaged background relatively and having through determination and wisdom and humility having worked herself into a position where she can make a massive difference. So it's worth paying good attention to her words and hearing the gems within them. So to the virtual May, I hand over.
Program Director, colleagues, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to have been asked to address you at this graduation ceremony for Cornerstone Performance Solutions Class of 2021. How exciting it is to be here, celebrating the pride of what South Africa has to offer amidst the doom and gloom that has been the narrative of late. What a journey it has been, and we survived work, studies, lockdown, and some of us COVID too. Sadly, we must acknowledge that during the course of 2021, we suffered loss in countless ways, including some learners too. Their departure from this world and the lessons that come from that should not be lost on us. This program is so needed in so many ways in our country. Unemployment, particularly amongst youth, is rife. Education is unattainable for many. This program assists with providing young people with an opportunity to attaining a very specific banking qualification, and in attaining the qualification makes people more employable. I know that the current economic outlook is not the most positive. Know that you have the skills that can be applied in any workplace you go into. Open your mind to new and different opportunities that are not necessarily part of your plan. You never know where the journey might take you. Today marks the beginning of a new journey for many of you. Graduates, as you are known before you graduate, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you on your achievement, but also let me impart some heartfelt and homegrown advice. Attaining a qualification opens many doors, but climbing the corporate ladder takes a combination of hard work, determination, the right attitude, political savvy, and humility. As you make your way up the ladder, remember a few things. Firstly, your success is not yours alone. Along the way, your parents, family members, educators, coaches, mentors, friends, peers, and colleagues would have contributed in some way or the other to your success. Do not forget it or them. The doors have been opened for you. While you savor the new opportunities that come knocking on your door, remember those that you have left behind. Give back, whether in advice, your time, or support. Building this nation requires a selfless approach to knowledge sharing, and you are the individuals who can collectively make it happen. Don't be afraid to think big or to shoot for the stars. Wayne Gretzky, a famous hockey player, said, "You miss 100% of the shots that you never take." How often have you discarded an idea because you've been afraid of failing? If you are not willing to try to make your dreams come true, you'll end up settling for less of a life than you could have had. Don't be afraid of hard work. It never goes unnoticed for long, but remember to strive for a balance. Make choices that will make you happy for a long time rather than just focusing on the next 2 seconds. So while that dream car, maybe the red Golf GTI, will give you the instant gratification, an investment in property may give you a long term return. Respect yourself and respect other people. This means that you should realize that everyone is unique and everyone has his or her own ideas and abilities. And that is a good thing, not a bad one. Celebrate diversity. The fact that people are different and possess different talents means that when you work as a team, together you can achieve more than any one of you could alone. Continue learning. No one is saying that you should all have MBAs, although I see nothing wrong with that. But have the humility to understand that you can learn from anyone and everyone, no matter what their station in life. Knowledge will bring the best out of you and enable you to fulfill your potential, achieve your goals, and live your dreams. Remember, you are the master of your own destiny. Be comfortable with whom you are and the choices you make. Think wildly, but act wisely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Learners, all that I have left to say to you is congratulations and well done. God bless. Thank you.
May is always inspiring. And thank you very much, Virtual May, for what you've just shared with us and the sage advice that you give. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you can see that both May and Indira epitomize people who have managed to cultivate from the ashes of colonial era South Africa the possibility of a new tomorrow. And Indira heaped praises on Corin and I just want to acknowledge that and thank that for that. But I think what you should be able to see is that in the collaboration with people like May and people like Indira, nothing is actually impossible. Nothing is impossible. And if it had been Corin and I on our own, we would have had probably 2 graduates, not 20,000. So I can't accept the magnitude of the praise, but rather take it as praise on the network and the like-mindedness of the people that have been part of this journey. And what you can see if you look at the 2 speeches is that both of them speak about a spirit with which you move forward. And I pray that you, each one of you sitting before us today, are granted the openness and the insight to take that spirit of learning and collaboration to create a new tomorrow back into your workplace. And I know and trust that it is going to result in profound success coming to you. And that will be a great blessing on those around you. So, moving into the actual big moment, we've got 2 qualifications that are being awarded today. The one is the National Certificate in Banking, which equips people with skills that are incredibly relevant to being successful in banking, and broader skills, as May pointed out. And then we're also graduating people from the generic certificate in management in banking. And that qualification is really quite unique in that it's very, very focused on creating new tomorrows rather than just merely mastering things that we have to master to be effective today. So it's with a great warm heart that I hand over to the big moment of the actual recognition of the people who've been successful.
Natasha Adams, Thandi Baloyi, Tebogo Bereng, Priya Bagwandine, Julia David, Lerato Shomaine Horton, Zonke Jili, Mutumuchabi Mavis Kodisang, John Calvin Lekay, Pauline Langa, Amogelang Langa, Lulamisa Lucia Lau, Joanne Luchminarain, Lydia Likeledi Maema, Kamogelo Maremi, Emma Maureen Masango, Nomsa Masilela, Nothando Patience Mkatwa, Precious Mgomezulu, Mutsatsi Mohapi, Matadira Monyosi, Snako Ngabe, Phumzile Ngwenya, Pinky Ngwenya, Nokwazi Nxumalo, Zanele Ongutwase, Taryn Shippers, Antoinette Scotts, Olerato Sibejo, Bongiwe Skhosana, Nozinhle Dieti, Frida Ntabe Chidi, Samantha Foster, Cheryl Zondo, Pindile Zuma, Victoria Tumelo Bia, Divuo Godobeza, Tandega Precious Hlongwane, Carl Johnson, Chantal Jogum, Sheila Khatoke, Patience Komape, Makhosazane Kuneni, Neo Halima Lipol, Victoria Lottering, Sibowaneng Madumo, Cynthia Mahasa, Yvonne Mahlase, Pindile Maphosa, Mabato Madalia Masehlele, Hisonia Shaulani Mashava, Nonhlanhla Masinga, Nomthandazo Mathe, Fulufelo Mavungu, Khomotso Nokuthula Mayisela, Alvina McLean, Mamorwane Mukhanedi, Steve Tebogo Mohale, Tulufelo Promise Mulihi, Simakale Jonas Molekua, Isaac Muleti, Tulisile Gloria Msiza, Nelly Tinswalo Njisa, Tepo Andres Nkosi, Tizvilondi Catherine Ramahada, Cecilia Sikhodi, Luther Chaka, Emil Williams, Arnaldo Flando, Inki Ingrid Gamuga, Johanna Sipiwa Masam, Precious Matatu, Boniswa Virginia Mdao, Mutala Daniel Mukhanedi, Madula Godfrey Muchapilo, Busisiwe Elisentia Msibi, Caroline Nomthandazo Nhlapo, Nthabiseng Oliphant, Lorraine Dineo Sipeng, Biang Martha Sirulumula, Leanne Sumer, Rose Lulu Matimang Tefu, Portia Amelia Toe, Nicolette Janine Daniels, Charlene Gomal, Mpho Lijani, Zuneshka Swat, Nthabiseng Dawatwala, Tasneem Waters, Ndombekaya Skhosana, Simangele Kumedi, Thuli Manyathela, Samkelo Mthalani, Esme Brits, Corin De Beer, Zito De Souza, Gerald King, Bernard Gora, Lungiswa Mhlongo, Tediso Welcome Nhlapo, Bonso Sharon Makari, George Santos, Lorinda Hendricks,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we should all switch on our microphones and in the African way make some noise to congratulate each and every one of us that has graduated here today, because I think it is a fantastic moment. So let's make some noise.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you don't stop. I hope you don't stop making noise for the whole day, but you can switch off your microphones now.
What are you saying?
Get your water, ungathola manje. Thank you. And the only reason I want to stop that is just not from your lounges and your places, but back into our space, so that we can get to the next very important moment, which is to recognize that some people in this pursuit achieve the max that they can from a potential point of view. And we like to recognize top achievers because they're so inspiring to the rest of us. I was never a top achiever either, Indira. So, the top achievers, I'm like, yeah, go. So, Indy, over to you with regard to the top achievers.
Thank you, Dr. Shirley. So yes, as Dr. Shirley said, there are always those individuals who, stand out in terms of perhaps their effort, their intellect, their well-roundedness approach. And in this case, we are going to be honoring our top achievers. We've had 5 cohorts who went through the process this year in terms of our 2021 graduation. And we have chosen a top achiever based only on academic achievement. for each cohort. So we have 5 top achievers. Top achievers, congratulations, well done. You will be receiving a voucher, an additional voucher. So, indulge in something meaningful as well from us to you and from your graduation peers to you. And well done, really, really well done, because I know it does take a tremendous time, and effort in order for you to have achieved the results that you have. So let's put our hands together for our top achievers.
Our top achievers. Lungiswa Mhlongo. Tediso Welcome Nhlapo. Bonso Sharon Makari. George Santos. Lorinda Hendricks. Congratulations and well done.
Well done to us.
Thank you, top achievers, for inspiring us.
Yay, absolutely well done.
Yay.
So I'd like to give the opportunity to our top achievers to actually say something, perhaps talk about your experiences, share, what it is that really worked well for you during the process. So I'd like to give the top achievers an opportunity to also use your voices in this process to inspire others. We will start off with George, who is one of our top achievers and who has recorded a message for us. So over to you, George.
Good day all, family, friends, Cornerstone staff, and my fellow graduates. It's an honor to be delivering this speech to everyone. A big congratulations to all graduates today. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Looking at 2020 year, when we all registered, we didn't foresee what's coming in a few months' time. But through the pandemic that we had, and through the persistence that we have within us, we are here today. We have made it through to our first step of bigger things to come on our different careers in the banking industry. So I remember vividly last year when we registered. Everything was going smoothly, the journey for the program. Then I had struggles when it came to compliance and risk management. I think I failed twice, but through being persistent, and I believe that many of us, when it came to that module, we struggled a bit. But we are here today. We are done. And you completing this program is not the end. My word to you is that continue studying, continue equipping yourself, because of greater things await you. And looking back through this whole journey, I was able to to grow as a person, to grow on my day-to-day work, and which shows that if we take it a step higher, we will be one of top employees wherever we are in our careers, because of you are able to complete the whole of 2020 till now, and which shows that nothing can step on your way and nothing can stop you from continuing or pursuing any dreams that you want. But my fellow graduates, today I would like to say it's a very, very exciting day for all of us. Let's make the most of it and let this lead you to greater things in life. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. George Santos, and really well, articulated and in the spirit that, yes, failure is but just a stepping stone to success. So it's all about resilience. It's all about the intention and, it's how we actually trudge our way forward that will make a difference. So really well done. And congratulations again to you, Mr. George Santos. I'd like to call upon Ms. Lungisiwe Mshlongo, could you please switch your camera on and please say a few words? Congratulations to you too.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna do this quickly. I hope everybody can hear me.
We're good.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. I firstly want to say good day to everybody present here today. And thank you for the bestowing me with such an honor on speaking on behalf of the students and to celebrate this special milestone today. Wow, I am so overwhelmed and emotional right now, and I'm actually lost for words. But I want to just firstly to thank Cornerstone at large for the great support they gave their students. The help we received was phenomenal. When you seek for help, there's always somebody willing to assist and to lend a helping hand. I think for one, Pauline Tifo will rest now because I used to nag and call her and send emails with so many questions because I basically wanted to understand every module. But with the help that I received, I firstly just want to say thank you because there was no module that I actually failed. But I don't really have a module that stood out for me, but because all the modules were different and unique. But the workplace module that had me against the wall because I had my mentor, my branch manager was my mentor, and he would ask me so many questions in terms of what I've learned and how the journey was. But in all of that, I got to appreciate the qualification and I got more knowledge. And I think if I can say so to all the students, we all, with all the reading that we did, definitely our minds are definitely filled with so much information and knowledge to grow ourselves within our respective environments. In closing, I think as the students, we'd like to thank Cornerstone again for the opportunity in learning. And please keep the notion of serving and putting your students first. And to my fellow graduates, remember, keep the faith, keep moving, and don't forget, inspire before you expire. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, inspiring words, Lungisiwe. And again, congratulations to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. Panso, Sharon Buhari, would you like to please say a few words? And if you're not comfortable switching your camera on, that is also your choice. No, so Ponzo obviously wouldn't like to say a few words. Lorinda Hendricks, how about you?
Thank you, Indira. Very much unexpected, hey? So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dr. Derek Shirley, Dr. Indira Baglu, faculty and Cornerstone support staff, and my fellow delegates. Wow, I'm actually just blown over, so I haven't prepared anything. But yes, thank you, Cornerstone, for this, for partnering with us on this journey. It's really been wonderful to have you at our sides and to offer the support that you have done. I'd just like to say to fellow delegates, yes, this is just the start of your journey, even though you've come to receive a qualification. Remember, it's continuous professional development and hard work, dedication, commitment, discipline, I think is the order of the day in anything you'd like to achieve. So see this as the certification, as your cognitive development, and you can further it. But it's such an achievement for everybody. So well done to you all. And again, thank you, Cornerstone. It's really been good. And I'm excited that to have received this achievement. So thank you, everybody, and a blessed day to you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Lorinda. Appreciate the inspiring words. Great. Sadiso, are you available to say a few words? Great. So we thought we're just going to be spontaneous with our top achievers. And yes, if they're a bit shy behind the mics, then that's also okay. I am going to say my formal goodbyes and thank you again. And I think, as many of you said, that there isn't really much of a celebration or achievement if we don't recognize the people behind the scenes. So to our implementation team, our project team, our student support, you've just done such an amazing job in terms of getting our students to reach this wonderful accolade. And, the work that's actually always been done in the background is just absolutely phenomenal. The people behind you, graduates, are passionate and they're stimulated and they challenge and they're always bouncy and vibey. And I hope that energy has actually come across to you as you've engaged with us. So I will be saying my formal goodbyes to you and my congratulations. But before we end the process, we are going to share a voice with you. I don't think Dr. Shirley or I could actually have said it any better. And then Dr. Shirley would say his vote of thanks. So all of the best, graduates, and really, really, really from the bottom of my heart, all of the best in your future endeavors. And may you make this world rock and allow for a better future and pay forward to whomever who comes across your pathway. All of the best. Thank you.
And on that note, and with the movement in my heart of this moment, let's make some noise again together and let us go forth and be the world that we want to see, because we are here. We are here. Woohoo! Make some noise!
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you
Bye.
here.
Have
Yes.
a beautiful journey. Have a
Bye.
beautiful journey.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
You are beautiful.
Bye.
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 Huh?
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Oh, sweet. Oh, wow.